Having two young children of my own, a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, I feel that I need to bring you this video today because I don't love my kids playing whatever they want when they're on the devices. I like to have games that I think are dad approved for them to play. So today I'm going to share with you 10 plus games that I think are appropriate for my kids to play so they can play and I won't be worried about what they're actually seeing. First on the list is Geometry Dash. This game dropped back in 2017. There's a free version and a $2 version. The $2 version is going to keep out the ads, which is actually a great idea when you have your kids playing the games and you don't want to have them seeing random ads. And this one is just a very simple platformer style game with some nice background music where they need to bop to the beat and get through the different zones. This one is super kid friendly. It's not going to give them too much of that addictiveness that we don't want them to have inside of games. And it's going to keep them enjoying it though, because they do want to progress through each of the levels. It's a super fun game for people of all ages, but definitely one that's friendly for your kids to play, especially when you're not looking and you really don't want to have to keep an eye to make sure everything is safe. Bloons TD6. This game sits for $6.99. Yes, it's a premium game and there is no free to play option, but it is one of my two favorite tower defense games I've ever played ever. And I'm not just talking about on mobile. It's a super cute looking game, but has a bunch of depth to it as well that's going to offer a lot of strategy and really stimulate your kids' brains. Essentially what you have to do inside of this game is stop the balloons from getting through your path. If you can stop them, well then you're victorious. You use a bunch of different types of monkeys that all have different abilities and skills that'll stop those balloons as they try and make their way through, and a lot of strategy that you can use to prevent that path from happening and to upgrade your monkeys. Minecraft is another game, but it's also another premium one, and I know I'm starting out the list here with 3 games that are premium, only one of which has a free-to-play option, but this one offers a ton of creativity. Inside of Minecraft, you really can do anything. It's a ton of fun and people still play Minecraft to this day, and this game is ancient. You're going to explore different worlds, different realms, and build things as you go. Clash of Clans. Finally a game on the list here today that is absolutely free to play. This one right here is actually what this YouTube channel was founded on. I absolutely love Clash of Clans and love the strategy that it takes to really produce a base that you could be proud of. Also strategy that you need to take down bases. This game has grown so much over the past 10 years that it is a completely different game than it was when it began. Now, why did I choose Clash of Clans over Clash Royale or Brawl Stars? Very simple. This game doesn't have the raging element to it. When you play Clash Royale or Brawl Stars, you find yourself getting very angry, which I don't personally feel is healthy for the kids. This here keeps the anger out of it, adds the grind and strategy, which really stimulates the brain and makes for a good time for the kids. If you guys have any games that you let your kids play that aren't on today's list, please let me know in the comment section below so I could check them out and maybe my kids can jump in as well. Subway Surfers. Now there are tons of endless runners, but I was only going to choose one for today's video, and this is the one that made the cut. The reason I chose Subway Surfers is because it's the longest lasting one. It has great characters inside of the game that you really start to love playing as, and there's literally endless amounts of updates and boards for you to have to run through. With Subway Surfers being one of the longest lasting apps on mobile phones, it's one that I feel confident that you could let your kids dive into, that they'll really enjoy and even be able to play for a long period of time. They can come back to this one year after year and always remember where it came from. Mario Kart Tour. You knew this one was going to be on the list because it's a Mario game, and if you don't know Mario Kart, then you probably never played video games as a kid yourself. There's just so much fun. There's a competitive element to it, of course, but it's done in a cartoony Nintendo style that is really kid-friendly. Let's be honest. We all know and love Mario. And if you don't love him, well, then maybe you were a Sega Genesis person. Either way, if you like Sonic or Mario, this game is great for your kids to play with tons of maps, tons of weapons, tons of cars, and tons of characters. They're never going to get themselves bored unless if they're not in the mood for a racing game. I absolutely love this one. It's fun to play with the kids as well, and it's something that they can enjoy on their own. Hungry Shark Evolution, because who doesn't love to be a shark and go after smaller fish and sharks and people and boats? This game is a lot of fun. Basically, you're gonna make your shark survive by feeding him anything that comes in his path. Make him survive, build up his strength, and have him evolve as he progresses through the game. And then there's Zuba, because of course your kids need to play a battle royale style game, so what better than a shooter where you're playing as cute animals. This one's actually a lot of fun, has been around for a while, and just doesn't get old. You drop into the world with a cute character with a special ability and no weapons. You need to find those weapons and then take on your opponents. This one has the perfect mix of fun, competitiveness, but it doesn't get you to the point where you're gonna rage quit and have your kids upset because they lost in a mobile game. Just a fun, casual shooter type experience that's probably one of the more appropriate ones alongside with Brawl Stars for kids. I just find that this one a little less rage invoking than Brawl Stars. Survivor IO, because of course you want a bullet hell style game that has endless waves of zombies and allows your kids to give themselves a choice in the matter with the weapons that they choose. This game's a lot of fun for kids or for adults. It also is kind of an addicting game as well because you just want to keep getting yourself further and further along in the progression. Of course, it does get to the point where things get crazy and there's just no return. This is one of the better bullet hell games out there. It's not an offline game though, but I really do like it, and it's probably the one that kept me entertained the most. Also, my kids enjoy playing it, of course, which is why it made the list. Soul Knight, which is a roguelike style game with some 8-bit graphics that are quite enjoyable. It's very kid-friendly. It's a quick game though. It's gonna keep them on their toes for sure and really work on those fast twitch muscles in their thumbs, but it's really enjoyable. The characters are really cute and fun, and as I mentioned, it's kid-friendly if they're looking for something that's a little bit more action-packed than most of the others that we've shared so far today on the list. Angry Birds 2, or really any Angry Birds game. These ones are cute, they're fun, and they let your kids start to understand the meaning of angles and how to project things to destroy things. It's just a fun game. It's been around forever. It's also one that you could just dive into quickly, play for a few minutes, and come back to it a few weeks later and still just know how to play it and enjoy it at the same time. Definitely a good one for kids and for me. Now, earlier on I mentioned Bloons TD6 as one of my favorite tower defense games, but my second favorite of all time, or tied for first I should say, is Plants vs. Zombies. I played this back in the day on console, but now it's here on mobile, and it's absolutely amazing. Inside of this game, you're going to be protecting your house. You don't want the zombies to get to your house because if they do, they will eat your brains. So you have to plant plants that are basically a bunch of weapons that you learn how to use over time, and you got to keep the zombies away. Pretty simple strategy. But with the pretty simple, you're going to have your kids having to use their brains and think of how to set up the plants to make sure that the zombies don't reach the house. It's an amazing game, one of the best tower defense games of all time, and it's great to get your kids playing it young. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing so that you can be here with me every single day when I bring you new games that you should be playing in the form of a list.